Welcome to hashtag 52 Needs and this week's topic connection. My name is Angela Heise. I am a coach and trainer, and I love playing with leadership, emotional intelligence, global village skills, and all sorts of topics that are around soft skills and leadership, how we lead others and ourselves. And I'm really pleased to have with me Christelle Pellecuer, who is the founder and creative director of Razana Afrika. Christelle is also a makeup artist for fashion, film, and TV. She's a writer and performer based in Bristol, UK. Her professional background includes working in the education sector for over 15 years, undertaking program and project management roles with an international focus. Christelle is also a co-director of a small theater company called Black Women Let Loose, and they write, perform, and produce and direct their own materials. Christelle's writing is based on her experience as a Black woman living in the diaspora and as a transracial adoptee, exploring issues of identity, memory, and displacement. She's inspired by African culture, traditions, and mythologies. So we're talking about connection at work. So does it have to be, I mean, when we talk about connection at work, we immediately go to professional and task oriented and effective and all of that. I don't know. Does it really have to be like that? What is actually connection at work?
I think for me, connection at work is really start about what the nature of your work is
Mm.
really. Because for me, if I don't have any passion in what I'm doing, I can't connect to the
Yeah.
work. So I think that sense of purpose needs to be it's really important
Okay.
for me to be able to connect
So do you
with.
start connecting with people at work first, or do you actually start off with you need to connect to work, to your work, and then you can connect with people?
Well, I think it's work because that's what's real push me to apply for a certain job or go for it. So before even I meet the people in that work environment, I will need to look at the nature of the job.
Hmm.
Um, Once I get there, it's definitely people first, to get to know them and who will be my work colleague, and because we're
Mm.
gonna have to interact on a daily basis. So I think it's really important to be able to connect with whoever is around you as much as you can. Mm.
Yeah, I'm asking because I'm wondering. I know I have taken jobs because they sounded interesting, but because I really connected with the people. And then I thought, well, let's see how the work pans out and see how it goes, because if it doesn't, then I'll just leave again. But for me, workplace culture is really important. So if I can get along with people and I can connect with them, then I can also do some work that I might not like. Not for a long time, but at least for a while, as long as there are aspects in there that I like.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. But I think I would still need that interest in the work because I think
Mm.
I believe there's good people all around. So no
Sure.
matter which work environment is,
Yeah,
I'm still gonna find some good people. Uh,
absolutely.
but I think I've done, in my younger days where you just take whatever job you find. I can't do that anymore. I definitely need to have some interest. My heart has to be in the work
Yeah.
for be able to do it
But
now.
you and I are really lucky. We work in our passion, so again, I mean, I have taken jobs. I mean, look, it was not something where I went, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, but as an experience, connecting with people was something that I got a lot out of.
Yeah,
Um, that didn't mean that I took a job where I was selling widgets or something that didn't mean anything to me. You're absolutely right. There had to be some sort of connection. But when
yeah,
again, it's
yeah.
just,
It's a balance. It's a
yeah.
balance, playing out of balance. And I guess, oh, yeah, when you look at the job description, if you work for a company, for example, you would look at a whole set of different things. Who
Mm,
are what the job, what the pack? Well, it's a package, isn't it? So
yeah.
what the culture is, what the company is
Yes.
doing, and
Yeah.
how big is the team. So yeah, it's a balance of what is available in that package.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about this before. Do I have the opportunity to create a sense of belonging in there?
Mm.
And I think that's something that people are more and more aware of as well, that connection, because we are working remotely so much more than we used to, and
Mm.
creating connection. Now we're talking on Zoom, right? Which is wonderful because you're in the UK, I'm in Australia. wouldn't be
Yeah.
possible without it. But
Mm.
it's not the same kind of connection that you have with somebody face to face when you're really sharing the same space and you can connect, not just via digital airwaves, but you like physical space. And I don't know,
Yeah.
that's really important as well.
Mm. No, I think so. And I think you mentioned the word belonging just now.
Mm.
And I mean, that is an area, and part of the reason I'm a freelance now is part of because I somehow I really struggled to belong in a corporate environment. I didn't see many people who look like me. That was found really difficult. So yeah, it's for to be able to connect with a working environment, you need to be able to, I think, yeah, have that sense of belonging. And
Mm.
I mean, I've worked in places where I did feel belong, and there was nobody who looked like me. And
Mm.
I think again, it's come back to how we that culture is. Do they make you feel welcome? Does it make you, is there do they allow you to progress within that organization? Does it nurture you to develop your skills? I think if there is that, then you can feel belonging, but sometimes it's not always that. You don't always have a manager who is really empowering you or helping you
Mm.
to progress. And when you come to that, it's really difficult then to feel like you belong to that place. And I've had both in life, and yeah, it's I think it's again it's that package and that balance of really what do you want out of the work.
Yeah. Well, I think it also depends on what your purpose is in that job. I mean, I have been in roles where that sense of that when I was, as you said, I was learning, I was developing, I was being mentored. And so I had, even though the work might have not been what I liked, but it gave me a sense of loyalty as well. And so
Mm,
I might have stayed in some jobs, I probably stayed longer than I would have if I hadn't had that personal connection.
yeah.
Whereas in other jobs, yes, maybe the job was great, but the connection with people wasn't. I didn't stay. I know
Mm,
that there was one job I literally stayed for 3 days and I was gone because there was just no way I was going to connect with these people, like none.
mm,
So
yeah. And the purpose is again very important because I've had work in where in university, for example, where I really didn't feel like I'd belong into that corporate environment. It was very structured, and
mm,
people didn't always it was like a how would you say, it's almost like a factory in university sometime.
yeah,
It's but for me, what kept me going, and I stayed for quite several years, is really that purpose of helping the students.
mm-hmm,
uh, and I was working with international students. I couldn't relate with the struggle of moving to a different country and having to learn a language and having to study in a different language. So wanting to support them, that was really that was driving me. So I think that purpose, if you know why you're doing certain work, even if the whole ensemble of what is around is not always perfect,
yeah,
sometimes still help you to keep going because you're making a difference to some people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I mean, we've it's, you need to have everything come together in order to have that sense of purpose, connection, belonging. So these three things really work together. And when there's a values alignment, I think that's when you really connect. So at work, again, I mean, like you sometimes people want to know, can you do you have to be friends with people if you want to work with them? And I my answer to that is generally, yeah, well, depends on, it depends on you, it depends on your values, it depends on the work, it depends on so many factors. But connection is really what creates that sense of team. That's when you create that synergy and people come together and they create outstanding results. So
And I think it's a bit like in everyday life, really. I don't think you are able to connect with everybody. There's people you would just be casual, and there's some people you really connect. And I think in the work environment, it's the same. There's people who just do work because you are there to do work, but there's people, I mean, I've had people I've worked 10 years ago, which I'm still friends today, and
Yeah.
we're not in the same organization anymore. But because we built that connection, um, we will always keep that connection. Where
Mhm.
some people have not, as soon as I left the organization, I've stopped talking to them.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay for both because, it's again, it's not, you are there to do a purpose and to deliver a common work, but you don't have to, you don't even have to like people, I think, in this environment, as long as you can work together and do what is required. I think that is what is needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I guess for the teamwork, it is important to be able to be on the same level and have some, in a way, some way, a similar way of working together, um, to connect as a team.
Yeah, I
And
think,
people can have a different personality in that team, and I think that's also very important to have
mm,
different um,
absolutely.
skills and different way of seeing the world, because one way I do things might not be the right way to do a project, and someone else come along and say, oh, we should be doing it this way, which is the better way. So we need that different way of seeing the world to complete a task in a lot of this project.
Yeah. So diversity is really good, but diversity doesn't really stop connection from happening. And it's um I was going to make a point about the importance of trusting. I
Mm.
think that is probably more important than agreeing with each other and saying, yeah, we have the same approach. I mean, I have worked with people where we came from totally different directions, but we trusted each other to be respectful, to be mindful of boundaries, to honor each other's expertise, and to be respectful not just with each other but also in how we talked about each other with other people. And that is also something that creates connection, and that then creates professional efficiency and productivity as well.
Yeah, I think, yeah, trust is definitely really, I mean, both in work and life environments. But you also mentioned boundaries, and I think that is one thing I really struggle in work environments where the boundaries has been not respected, because
Mm,
then you lose complete trust with that person, but also respect when people um, don't trust your own boundaries, and it creates, I think for me, it does create that questioning myself, am I good enough? Again,
yeah.
that's the thing about being good enough. And when people start pushing your boundaries and um, stepping in a place that they shouldn't be,
Yeah.
then that start questioning yourself about why you are there, what are you doing, are you doing good work? And
Yeah.
uh, so that really creates then quite a lot of tension in that
Mm.
workplace. Happens.
Well, connection creates self worth, ironically. When we
Mm.
know that we can connect with somebody and that they trust us, then we can really feel good about, as you said, that we feel good about ourselves, and that creates that self worth, which enhances the connection. So it becomes a loop. The more we
Yeah.
connect with others, the more we connect with ourselves. And the more we can trust ourselves and each other, the stronger the connection becomes. And that then creates the community. And then at work, it creates that teamwork. And that creates then the excellent results and creates more productivity, which then creates more trust. So it becomes this lovely loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think work environment is, sometimes you've got a new team. It's almost like it's easier because you all start at the same time. You start to learn about each other.
Yeah.
I think the difficulty sometimes is when people leave and other people comes, and
Yeah.
then it changes that energy within that team that was formed, and it might not the same um, view as the group as
Mm.
before, and that might create tension and break that kind of flow that we
Yeah.
you have. So I think that the difficulty sometimes with work environment is because it's not always the same people in and out. And in a way, I suppose it doesn't have to, because in order to be healthy environment, you also need that changes from
Sure.
time to time. But being able to know who's around you, make it a little bit safer as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that is important, that safety
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
environment.
Psychological safety. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I generally find that, but when I say to my clients, when they say, oh, I work with this person, but I can't really connect with them. So we don't really create results. And I said, when I asked them, when's the last time they had a cup of coffee with them, be it in virtual space or in real space, they go, why would I want to do that? And I say, oh, it's like, I don't really need to work with them. I just see them in meetings. And yes, we don't necessarily end up on the same page, but I don't really need to work with them. I don't
yeah,
report to them. They don't report to me. It's like, well, because we're human beings, we're
yeah.
wired for connection. And it's
Mm.
really useful to have a connection with somebody, because if things go wrong, it's useful to have that connection rather than going, come on, let's just, resolve that. It's being able to say, me, we've got a connection. Let's work this out.
It is really, really important. And I really admire leaders who are right at the top and take the time to actually come
Yeah.
and meet some of the lower level member of staff from time to time just to connect with who are in their
Yeah.
organization. Because there's some organization where the people here have never, don't even know who's up there.
Yeah.
And I think that's create that disconnection then,
Yes.
because people who are in the organization, they don't even know who they are working for, or for
Mm,
what and for who.
yeah,
um,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
I think it does make that difference in how then that organization will perform in the long term.
Because belonging, purpose, and we've come full circle. Oh, thank you so much, Christelle. That was a wonderful conversation. And I know we could talk about this for many more hours to come. And I'm sure at some point we will, and we will connect over, hopefully, at some point in real life over some beautiful food and more
Yes,
conversation. Otherwise, we'll stay on Zoom. Thank you so much. And thank everybody for watching us and connecting with us. And we'll see you next week.